What's up? How you doing, folks? Welcome to day number 4 of the 30-day to 10K challenge. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. Listen, as you can see, I'm still in my office here. I'm still sitting here, and I promise you, over the next couple of weeks here, we will definitely mix this up, in different locations, so you don't have to constantly see the same background here. But as we're getting through the mindset training side of this, as we're building that foundation to get you where you want to be in the next 30 days, I needed to be here. So that's the deal. Now it is Thursday. I love Thursdays. If you want to know why, you can actually go to pangeafreedom.com and click on the blog there. And I have a pretty good blog about what's your favorite day of the week. And you can see why Thursdays are an exciting day for me. I've always liked them growing up, and maybe you can even relate to it. I bet a lot of us have something in common there. So if you have time to check that out on our blog, you can do that. Now, with that being said, let's kind of recap where we're at right now so we can move forward to where we want to get to as we lead into the weekend and we start, utilizing some of these principles, some of these habits that we're creating for ourselves, some of these belief systems where we can really get to the meat and potatoes of the marketing, where we can start, creating some of that marketing, some of that monetization, and some of that momentum to lead you into, not just the next 30 days, but the next 60 days, 90 days, and year. So you can always go back to this process and remember, hey, what does it take to get me to where I want to be? And it always, I don't care what anyone says, it always starts with your mind and who you can attract and what you can attract to your current situation based upon the beliefs. And the beliefs are the things that you tell yourself. The cool thing about this is you believe whatever you tell yourself. So you have the ability to change some of that. Now, yesterday we talked a lot about purpose, right? We talked about making sure that your purpose is where it needs to be. And then we talked about the main subject was the massive action. After we have set some of our goals, and we're concentrating on the business goals, okay? All the rest of the goals as far as, your personal life goals, your health goals, your spiritual goals, all those things, I want you to use the same process, but this building system right here, what we're going to be training on right here, is specific to your business goals. And I ask you to really define your business goals as far as, what do you really want to achieve with your business in the next 30 days, specifically, not broad goals, if you remember that. And then we talked about the purpose, like, what is the deep down purpose where you can dig deep, where people can really buy into it, but most importantly, you can buy into it. We talked about some of those selfish purposes, right? Not the typical cliche, hey, I'm doing this for my family. Everybody's doing it for their family, okay? That's the reality. Everybody's doing it for their family, but I'm saying deeper than that, right? Deeper than that, inside of you, there's a reason why you're doing it, and you have to take care of yourself first. You have to get yourself right first before you can worry about your family, before you can worry about friends, before you can worry about any of that stuff. You have to be right with yourself first. So that is why I encourage you to dig as deep as you possibly can internally there, even if it's uncomfortable, because usually right outside your comfort zone is your success, right? And I think back to the success that I've had in this industry. There are so many things that I do, like this right here. I didn't really want to be on a camera, to be honest with you. I was uncomfortable with that situation. I didn't want people to, really just dive into my life personally, because that was uncomfortable to me. And, at the same time, I had a job. I was trying to protect that. What if someone saw one of my videos? What if this? What if that? And I had to let all that nonsense go, and I had to really get uncomfortable in order to break through to where I wanted to be successfully. And I can tell you the same holds true today. There are things in my life right this very second that I have to break through. I have to get uncomfortable, on a daily basis. I mean, whether it comes to conflict, whether it comes to, telling people no, all those things. I'm giving you some hints on some of the challenges that I have personally, and maybe you can deal with some of that. But, I had you really get deep down into your purpose. What would it do for you as a person, the person that you become, the leader that you become, that people absolutely want to follow? That is where that purpose comes from. And then we talked about the massive action. When we talk about massive action, most people cannot define what steps they need to take to get to where they want to be. Or maybe they can, right? And this is what I ask you to do. I ask you to write down 10 things, 10 tasks that you feel that you absolutely were required to do in order to reach the goal that you created for yourself, in order to be able to touch into that purpose that we talked about, in order to be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve in these next 30 days and beyond. Now, I want to re-emphasize this. Don't get caught up on the 30K to 10K. I mean, I've said it like 50 times, but I want to make sure you understand that 10K is something that was, you know, a marketing to get you here. Your number may be 20K, your number may be 3K or 5K or 1K or $500. I truly don't know what it is, but I'm hoping it's more than what you're earning right now. And I'm talking specifics, right? Remember, we're talking specifically to your entire picture. You might sell multiple products, you might be in multiple companies, you might have a job, you might have other forms of income that I don't know about. So when you're planning this process out and you're talking about your goals, I want you to be specific to where this thing is going to come from. Now, oftentimes when we're talking about business goals and we're talking about what we want, as I've said, probably 99.9% of us start with the money, right? That is the very first thing that comes into your head is, what do I want to produce money-wise, right? Because then you can work backwards. Then it becomes a numbers game of being able to break it down to figure out, what do I need to do on an hourly basis, right? We talked about this. What do I need to do on a daily basis? What do I need to do on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, all the way to a quarterly basis, an annual basis, right? We talked about that, and I ask you to go in there, whatever your number is, and I ask you to figure out what your hourly worth is. Whatever that number is, okay? If you started at $10,000, you should have divided it by 30 days, and then you should have divided it by 24 hours a day or 7 days a week. And so you know exactly what your daily rate is, you know what your hourly rate is, you even know what your weekly rate is right now. And the reason why I wanted you to do that is because I want you to put a value on what you're bringing to the market, okay? And now that you know that value, now that you know what you are requiring people to pay you, because that's really what it is, you're requiring people to invest in you for whatever value you can put to the marketplace. And you know now what that number is. Now, again, I know a lot of people that charge $500 a month, or I'm sorry, $500 an hour. There's people that charge $2,000 an hour, I know. And there's some people, I mean, I've even paid people that it cost me $25,000 for that 1 hour of their time. So you have to put that value, whatever you're putting into the marketplace, whatever that perceived value is, that's what it is. But whatever you figured out for yourself, I want you to focus just on that number. So let's say that your value right now is $100 an hour, right? $100 an hour is what you determined your time is worth. Now, if that is the case, the question is, how many hours do you have to put in, right, to be able to achieve your goal? And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the tasks that are required. Now, I ask you as well, in addition to figuring out that math, which hopefully was simple for most of you, it shouldn't have taken, 10 minutes of your time. Even if you were distracted, you should have been able to do that pretty easily. But now that you have that hourly base, remember I told you then I wanted you to take just a little bit of time and write down the 10 tasks that you feel are absolutely crucial to getting you to your goal. So I'm sure you remember that. Now here's the deal. I said this yesterday. If you didn't watch day number 1, day number 2, or day number 3, and you're trying to catch on at this point, please do yourself a favor and pause this and come back to it. Go to our YouTube channel and check it out. Okay, it's Pangea Freedom there. Check it out. Get all the lessons in, because this is a buildup. This is a process. This is not something that you can come halfway in and know what you're doing. It'd be like walking into a contractor and taking over building his house without having the plan. You have to have the plan. You have to have the foundation, and that's what we're building on right now. So let's get to those 10 things that we're talking about, okay? Those 10 tasks. The reason why I asked you to fill out those 10 tasks is because I wanted you to begin to start thinking. Now, I bet if I had to guess, many of you got to like the first, let's say 3, 4, maybe even 5 tasks. It came very, very easy to you, right? You know that you need to do specific things to have success in business. Now, then you got to number 6 through 10, and you really almost started trying to make stuff up just so you could have the 10. That's if you're following the instructions. And as I know, most people won't do that. But for those of you who are committed to this, I guess that you did the first 5, and your 6 through 10 numbers, you had a hard time figuring it out, right? You're trying to be like, well, what else can I do in the day? What other tasks can I do to get me to where I need to be? If I had to guess, now some of you may have had no problems. Some of you might be like, yeah, I know exactly what I need to do to be able to get there. You have complete clarity on that. If that's you, congratulations. That is not the masses. Most people know what the basics are. Now, I want to talk about the basics for just a second. I said this yesterday. You look at any good coach out there, or any successful coach, or any coach, maybe even the Hall of Fame coaches, Most of those coaches focus on the basics. And, Jim Rohn said it best. There's only 5 or 6 things in almost anything that you do in life that you need to be efficient at to be successful at that specific thing. Okay, so like soccer, you guys know I coach soccer. There are just 4 or 5 or 6 things that you need to be able to do. You need to be able to dribble. You need to be able to trap the ball. You need to be able to, shoot the ball. You need to be able to pass the ball. All those things are just basic fundamentals of the game of soccer, right? Well, there's basic fundamentals of business as well. And most of the time, we get away from those basics. Why do you think I'm doing this training, right? Because I personally felt like I could add some value, number one, to the marketplace, but number two, I'm using this for myself as well because I want to get myself back to the basics. Sometimes you get lost in life and you have to find your way back to where you want to be. It doesn't mean that you're not having success. It just means that you want to revisit where you came from to make sure that your vision, to make sure what you're trying to achieve is still going in the same direction. I hope that makes sense to you, okay? So when you were filling out those 10 things, like I said, you probably wrote down the 5 basic things. Now here's the second part of that, okay? Most people, when you're finding out or trying to figure out what your task for the next day would be. Now, let me rephrase that, okay? Most of you don't figure out your task for the next day. Most of you wake up and you let the day plan itself for you, okay? You don't have any plan from a week or from a day or from a minute to minute. You don't know what's going to happen. Now, other than you know what time you have to wake up, you know what time, if you have kids, you have to wake them up in order to still give you time to get ready. You know what time you have to get them to the bus stop. You know what time you usually eat breakfast, and you have to be at work at a specific time. Right? I get those things, right? Those are common sense things. But when it comes to your business outside of your job, right, your job, usually people have no clue. And a lot of times you're getting home after work, or maybe you work nights, you're getting home in the morning and you're tired, you have to deal with the kids, you have to deal with the husbands, the wives, whatever it is, you have to deal with life. I guess let's just put it like that. And challenges get in the way, right? And there's no commitment. You remember those words, commitment? I talked about making a commitment and stick with it. Even on what the slides that I put out here, I say make a commitment and stick with it because I want you to commit to this. Remember, I said that you're going to have to, no questions asked, you're going to have to miss some things in your life. There's going to be some dinners you're going to miss. There's going to be some movies that you're going to miss. There's going to be some scandal episode. I think I used that yesterday. There's going to be some things you're going to miss, right? There's going to be some big events that you're going to miss. If you truly want to be successful, successful people do what unsuccessful people won't, period. All the time. No exceptions. That is the way it works. So you're going to have to be willing to say no to some people. You're going to have to be willing to have some people give you some grief, right? And just know that it's coming. Do you not think that I took a little bit of grief from my wife when I missed some big things that were going on in my kid's life to be able to get us to where we wanted to be? Of course I did. But I knew the vision was bigger than that, right? I knew it was bigger than what I was just working on right that second. So there's things that you're going to miss, and I'm just getting you prepared because that is the price of success sometimes. It doesn't mean that your family shouldn't come first, or maybe God comes first, then your family, then your business. I get that, I truly do. But you're going to have to make some concessions. You might have to miss that NFL Monday Night Football game, or I know the Super Bowl just happened, but you might have to miss that in order to get what you want. So that's where I'm coming from that perspective. So back to the basics on the list of 5 things that you completed there. Let's say that you actually got the 10. Okay, let's say that you figured out the 10 and it really started to open up your mind, like some of the more specific things that you're going to have to do in order to do it. Now, some of you might be in this presentation here today saying, well, James, I was hoping you would give me my top 10 things that I need to do. I'm not going to do that for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help you open up your mind. I'm going to give you the principles. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the understanding of what you need to do to be able to achieve your goals. But you're going to have to work on this, okay? This is not some magic pill that I can give you where you say, snap, I've got success. This is something that takes some work. It takes some effort. That is why I told you from day one, most people won't do it. If there's 1,000 or even 10,000 people that watch this, I know 10% of people might stick with this. Maybe, right? Does that sound familiar? Does that sound maybe a little bit like business? You got the 80-20 rule, you got the 9-10 rule. It's the same thing in almost every aspect of your life, and that's what breaks down to numbers, which should break down your list. Okay, so we have your hourly wage. We know what you think that you're worth as far as bringing value to the market. You might have looked at that number and said, wow, I'm worth a lot, or you might have looked at that and said, I need to raise my value. Don't change it at this point, okay? Don't change it at this point, because your goal is your goal. You need to be able to stair step it. So again, even if it's $500 and your hourly wage broke down to $5 an hour, don't change it at this point, okay? Just raise your value. And when you raise your value, naturally the cost or your ability to earn is going to go drastically up, okay? That's what this is for. It's to get you in the the mindset that you can actually take your business to where it wants to go. So here we are, we're back to the 10 things that you wrote down. We're back to the 10 tasks, the massive action things that you know that you are absolutely 100% required to do in order to have success. That was the objective, that was the task that you were given. So I hope that you did write those down. Now, I want you to approach this a little bit differently. I want you to think about this for a second, okay? We already know what the basics are. The basics are the basics, and they happen in every aspect of our life, as we know. What I like to break my task down when I'm chunking my stuff down, because that's really what you have to do. You have to chunk it down to whatever you really think that you can accomplish. I always try to work towards those production activities, producing, not sitting around analyzing, not checking out Facebook to try to find, the next best person to join your company, not out there, shoving it down people's throats, posting your link. We're going to talk about that at a different time, but there's so much more effective ways to be able to market your business. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about income producing activities. That's what you really need to chunk this down to. So if you have 10 activities listed there, if I had to guess, I would say 6 to 7 of them have to do with some type of getting ready to get ready, some type of analyzing, some type of something that has nothing to do with income producing activities. So what are the income producing activities in this business? If I had the chat up and we could look at it, what are some of those things? What are some of the things that we know that we have to do in order to produce income in this industry? Well, number one, I think the most important thing is you have to connect with people. Right? You have to connect with people. You have to have some type of connection, because you have to be in front of people. If you're not willing to be in front of people, maybe with your face, maybe you're not comfortable with doing a video like that. It doesn't have to be a video. There's so many different aspects and so many different avenues that we'll talk about when it comes to marketing. But what I want you to catch on to is the connection part, okay? Because your connections inside of your circles, your inner circles there locally, inside of your internet circles, and even inside of your global circles can help define what your net worth is going to be, right? Who you're connected to is going to drastically change. So, if you're here today, I think that that's huge for you, because you're hanging around some like-minded individuals. There's people that are watching this video everywhere around the world that are being able to relate right this second. And what I want to encourage you to do is find some accountability partners out there, okay? It can't be me. I don't have time to be your accountability partner right now, okay? So I know some of you might ask me to do that, but there's so many people out there that are in this industry. You don't even have to be working the same company, by the way. I want to encourage you as a industry to come together, right? To be able to talk to people, not to be able to shove your opportunity down their throat, by the way. But there's so many people out there that are posting stuff, that are doing things on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube or everywhere in the world that you could begin to connect with and join and become a friend with, rather than just trying to get them to join your opportunity or vice versa. So you might have someone in your company right now that maybe you join with, it may be your sponsor, maybe it's a cross line. It doesn't really matter, but what I want to encourage you to do is find some accountability. Now, here's the deal. If you're a husband and wife that are building this business together, you can't be each other's accountability partner, okay? Because I want to tell you why. When my wife and I decide to do a diet, okay, let's just say we're going to do a diet. It is so easy to convince the other one that maybe let's just cheat tonight. Let's just grab some Taco Bell, or let's grab something tonight that we know is not what we should be doing. But it's easy to start making those excuses to yourself, right? But if you have an accountability partner that you meet with on a daily basis for 10 minutes, or maybe you're just chatting back and forth on WhatsApp or, on Facebook or Twitter, however you want to do it, direct messages, Skype. I use a ton of Skype. Maybe that's what you do, where you just get a recap of each other's day if you really met those core components of building your business. Because what you're going to find is this: if you have an accountability partner, if you have someone that you can really lock arms with and they're doing all the same activities that you are, you're going to become jealous. If you're a competitive person and you know that they're doing it and you're not, and they're having success and you're not, what are you going to naturally start to do? You're going to want to raise yourself to that level, okay? So that's why I'm telling you, get out there and find some accountability partners. So number one, we know connection has to be a huge part of your daily task. That comes naturally. That's one of the core components of building this business, is making sure that you have that connection factor. Number two, it's a numbers game. Right? You have to get your offer, you have to get your service, you have to get yourself in front of a certain amount of people in order for people to eventually be able to buy. Now, as simple as a concept as that sounds like it would be, it is truly not. You know, I've dealt with companies, even outside of network marketing for a second, that truly cannot understand the concept of marketing their business, right? Spending some of that to be able to get what they want. Now, people just think for some reason that just because they joined a business, or just because they joined a product, or just because they signed up with the latest, greatest guru that said that they were going to build the business for them, they're going to give them spillover, they're going to give them sales, they're going to do this. Forget that nonsense for just a second. Let's concentrate on you and what you're supposed to be doing. Your job, if you will, your goal, your objective in your business is to make sales. I mean, that is truly it. Connect with people and naturally the sales will come. But see, most people sit on the sidelines. Most people do not want to put themselves in the game because they're worried about what the outcome is going to be. You're scared of what people are going to say. You're scared of rejection. You're scared of that word no, which, by the way, the word no is very, very, I mean, it's not uncommon. It is uncommon in the English language. Man, I couldn't hardly spit that out. What I'm saying is very people just straight tell you no, right? You know, especially, I mean, like I'm in the South here, like very, very few people just say no, right? Everybody is about, hey, let's treat people good, everything like that. And here's the deal. There's a few bad people out there. There are, you know, and you're going to run into them from time to time. You're going to get people to slam the door in your face, you know, maybe theoretically speaking, but the reality is that most people aren't going to tell you no. They're going to give you a list of excuses why it may not be the right time for them. But your no gets you that much closer to a yes. You know, think about this for a second. A lot of people use this analogy in this industry or in this business. Most people that understand baseball, you probably know that, you know, Major League Baseball players are paid ridiculous amounts of money. Now, what you may not know is that every single time they get up to bat, if they get up to bat 10 times, if they can hit the ball or just get on base two times out of 10, right? That means 80% of the time they fail. They get paid millions and millions of dollars. If they can get on base 3 times every time that they hit out of 10, folks, they're going to the Hall of Fame. That means 70% of the time they fail, right? And people don't use the same thought process when it comes to their business. If you're talking to one new person a day and you cannot understand for the life of you why your business is not growing, if you're hitting the same people over and over and over again, that low-hanging fruit with your newest, greatest, latest business shiny object that you just joined, and you can't figure out why you can't seem to get ahead, and you've got your task list sitting in front of you, and you think that you have the task figured out, I'm here to tell you today that your connection and your numbers are going to be the two biggest things that determine your success in this business. It's not your speaking skills. It's not your ability to be a computer guru. It's not about being able to place the best Facebook ads. It's not about traffic on the internet. There's traffic everywhere. It's not about your economic situation. You know, you don't have the nice cars or the things to show people when you're doing your videos. No one really cares. People are hungry. People are hungry for what you have, and you have to have that belief in your mind. Most of you go into it thinking, man, I want to mention this business to them, but you know, what if they say no? So what? Who cares if they say no? You need to know for a fact that most people are going to say no. The question is, how many people are you going to ask, and what are you going to do for yourself education-wise to improve the skills to make sure that that number goes up? If you talk to 10 people and one person says yes, hey, that's awesome. If you talk to 10 people and you can push it up to 2 because you worked on yourself, you worked on your self-education, you worked on your speaking skills, maybe you worked on your marketing skills while you were learning this business, you got familiar, you got uncomfortable, you got out of your comfort zone to get out there and become the person that you want to become. That's how you become a leader in this industry. It's not by sitting there hoping and praying and wanting some guru to do something for you. And by the way, folks, I'm not picking on, I mean, they got to that point for a reason, right? They did the work, they got through it. And if you listen to most of their messages, if you can see past the Ferraris and everything else, which by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Those are cool cars. But if you can see past some of that junk, right? Because it's just material junk is all it is. If you can see past some of that and hear their message, most of the time what they're telling you is, hey, I had to bust it for a while to get here. This is not an overnight success. It took me time to get here. Now they want you to sign up for their assistant. They want you to sign up for their product or whatever it is. So they're going to try to take you by the hand. I'm encouraging you to take yourself by the hand. Okay. Listen to what some of these people are saying, learn from what some of these people are saying and doing, right, from a marketing standpoint, because there's no doubt that there's some great teachers in that aspect. But the truth is this, I'm going to tell you exactly what the guy told me that gave me the breakthrough that I needed. When you stop worrying about what everybody else is doing and start focusing on yourself to become a better person, you will be more successful than the majority of people that you ever have seen in this business. If you make a decision today, okay, and that's the second part of the success formula. If you make a decision today, okay, you've got the vision, now you have to make the decision to take it to where you want to go. When you decide, not like, hey, it might happen, or I'm going to try, or I'm going to see what I can do. No, when you decide that there is no other option, none, you have seriously poured gasoline on the bridges and lit the match yourself and threw it on there. You burned every other bridge that there was possible for you to even walk back across to being unsuccessful. And you know for a fact that there is no turning back, that your back is against the wall. There is no other option than being successful for you. That is when you're going to have success. Now, I don't know if you've heard this one before, but I really like this analogy, or I guess it's a story. There's a guy that went to a guru, and he goes to the guru and he's like, sir, can you please tell me how to have success? Please tell me how to have a successful life. And the guru looks at him and says, hey, follow me for a second. So they go outside and it's freezing outside, and there's a big bucket of water that's sitting there. And the guru says, please ask me that question again. He said, sir, what do I need to do to be successful? The guru literally grabs him by the back of the head and shoves his head in that water and holds him down, almost to the point where the bubbles are coming up. He's almost about to drown, lifts him up and lets him get some air. He starts to say something, shoves his head right back down. He's holding him. The guy's about to drown. There's bubbles coming up. He lifts it back up. The guy is grasping for air, shoves him back down again and holding him there. And finally he lets him up. The guy catches his breath. He is livid. He's like, why did you do that to me? What are you doing? I asked you a simple question. The guru says to him, when you want to breathe as bad as you want success, if you want success as bad as you want to breathe, that is when you are going to have success. I love that story because I think it really opens up your mind and opens up your eyes that, hey, everybody says it, right? Everybody says it, very few do it. And imperfect action will get you to the place where you need to be. So back to the list of 10, right? We've only talked about a couple of things. We talked about connection. We talked about numbers. And I also want to talk about just the movement forward. Most people in their business are not growing, so they're dying. And most of you here today, you become frustrated, just like you do in any other aspect of your life. And then you ask your question, why do I do the things that I do? And I think it goes back to the belief system, and the beliefs are the things that you tell yourself. The cool thing about being, where we're at, being an entrepreneur is, and being online especially, you literally get to be whoever you want to be. It's your job. Maybe you're the person at the job that just doesn't fit in. That could be the case, right? You don't have the friends, or everybody's getting asked to go to lunch, you're not getting included, or whatever it is. Maybe you're an introvert, you don't like to talk to people, whatever it is. Do you know how many people come to this internet and they create a whole new identity because you can be anything that you want to be? You have the option right now with the power of the internet to become anyone that you want to be. Now in your local community, what does that do for you? Well, you're going to start to build out that confidence. So I want to encourage you to think about, as we talked about, think about the leader that you want to become. Think about what that's going to do for you and your family. Think about being the leader that people want to follow. When you talk to people, remember you know 95% more than any person ever when it comes to network marketing or direct marketing or network marketing in general. Remember that. Always have that confidence in your mind that, hey, it doesn't matter. I mean, you say no, that's fine with me. I don't care. I know where I'm going. If you want to come, you're welcome to come. If you don't want to come, that's fine as well. I could care less. I mean, I know where I'm going. I want to help you out, but at the same time, if you can't see the vision of what I'm doing, then it's probably not the right time. We're probably not a good fit. That's a lot different posture than, oh, you've got to do this. You got unbelievable. You got to be able to make some unbelievable money with us. You got to do this. I want to show you the products are just unbelievable. No one cares about that nonsense. Okay. I want to encourage you to focus on the income producing tasks. So you're going to take that list of 10 that we talked about here, and you're going to chunk that down to what you think the income producing activities are going to be for your business. All the other stuff, the analyzing, the reaching out to people to do this, the shoving your links down people's throats that will never, ever join your company ever because you look desperate. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you exactly like it is. Get all that junk off your task list. Reevaluate the couple things that we've been talking about. Your goal, it should be crystal clear at this point. Specific, all the way down to the dollar and exactly what product, what business, what service it is coming from, and how quickly you're going to create it. You should already know your value that you are adding to the market. If you know your number, you know what your hourly wage is, and you know that you would never, ever waste your time, ever, dealing with someone that cannot at least produce that hourly wage for you. The naysayers, the people in your life that are negative, the people that you talk to on the phone that tell you that, hey, oh, that's a scam, that's whatever, those people are the people that you say next and you hang up on. You have a good day. You have no time for them. None, because it's a numbers game, right? You've got to get to the point where you understand that the more people you touch, the more opportunity you have to grow your business. So you have no time for any of that stuff. None. Eliminate it from your life. You have your goals, you have your purpose, you have your vision that's so crystal clear you can't even describe it to people because it's just like unbelievable. It's internal to you, that selfish purpose that we talk about. And then you have the massive action that you're going to be taking, that you've got a list of 10 and you're going to chunk that down to 3 or 4 activities that you know before you close your eyes, period, every single day, just like the 15 minutes, right? Or 30 minutes that you're feeding your brain, which, did you do it today? Did you do it yesterday? Did you? I don't know. I'm guessing a lot of you didn't. If I truly had to put it to you, you found an excuse to give yourself a why you couldn't be successful. You can't even take 15 minutes to feed your brain. You can't take 30 minutes to feed your brain. On the way to work with your iPod or even on a CD, whatever, you could not find the time. You did not go to YouTube and do what I asked you to do. If I had to guess, the question is why? And if you can't find the simple time to help yourself, what makes you think you're going to be able to help anybody else and grow your business? Because guess what? That's what this business is all about. You help enough people get what they want, you can have everything that you want. Zig Ziglar right there. So when we come back tomorrow, you should have your 3 or 4 things that are completely condensed down to the 3 or 4 income producing activities that you know for a fact in order to grow your business. It doesn't take me saying them to you. You already know what they are. They might be 9 and 10 on your list because you don't like to do them, but you know what they are, and you know that you have to get uncomfortable in your current situation, uncomfortable with what your daily activities are, uncomfortable with, hey, I don't want to get in front of a camera. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to talk to this person. Folks, if you cannot get over that, if you can't get over the beliefs that you tell yourself on a regular basis, then this is probably not the right route for you. It might be a hard pill to swallow, but maybe the 9 to 5 deal is where you're supposed to be. If you can't find the strength to spend 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day filling your head with something that's great, and maybe it's this, maybe this is what you have time to put into yourself right now. I want to encourage you though to find more time for the things that you truly want to do, right? Because we all do. If you do this and you start to understand and you start to attract the people in your life that you want to attract, the business is going to take care of itself. You're never going to have to worry again about, how do I do this or what do I do? The principles are going to be set in your mind. And that's what we're working on right this second. Some of you, this is going to be boring. Some of you won't take the time to do it. And I mean, just like I just told you, that you can't deal with people that don't value your time. Don't watch these videos if it's not for you. But if it is for you, and you can understand the value of what we're doing here, guess what? You're helping me too, as I said. So even though I feel like I'm adding some value to you, I feel like each and every one of you that are participating, the views that I see, the emails that I'm getting, you guys are adding value to my life, because what I know is that we're back to the basics, right? I have some accountability. I made a commitment to you for the next 30 days. You don't think I have something going, especially like on the weekends? You think that I don't have things going as far as trainings and things like that? But I committed at least 30 minutes a day, every single day for the next 30 days to you. And I'm going to start getting into some of the marketing details and things like that as we get into, the weekend and the next week. But with that being said, I want you to show up tomorrow. I want you to have the 3 or 4 things that are absolutely crucial for you to do on a daily basis. The rest of the task list, if you have time for it, you have time for it. If you don't, you never, ever, ever close your eyes until the things that are the income producing activities are absolutely complete, period. Doesn't matter if you're building your business online or offline. It truly doesn't. You have to do that. You have to know this is a numbers game, and in order to meet the numbers, you have to do the tasks that are in front of you. Connections, numbers, massive action. So that being said, again, it's Thursday, one of my favorite days. Again, you can go check out the blog, pangeafreedom.com/blog, and you can check out why. Maybe some of y'all can relate to that. Again, I think that some of you probably could. So with that being said, I appreciate you taking the time to come out here. Tomorrow, hopefully we'll have a little bit of a different scenery than what we have going on today. I've been trying to figure out how to do these YouTube lives on my phone, but it seems like it's a bigger task than what we're doing. So we might hit some of them on Facebook Live. I'll let you know for sure. You'll get the details. But with that being said, have a great day. Thank you for spending your time with me on lesson number 4. And let's have the best 30 days that we've ever had in this business over the next 30. Have a good day. Bye-bye.